What is up, everyone? Brian here with ETM 540 Clubhouse, here with Shop Boy, where we're gonna get jumping back on this trailer for our part 2 of the Rebuilding Rebuild builds. That was pathetic. Anyways, we're gonna start putting pieces back on. We went this morning to Lowe's. I love Lowe's, by the way, because it's honestly never busy. We picked up our lumber, we got our screws, we got our sealer, and we're just gonna start slapping stuff on and piecing this thing back together because the paint is cured, it looks good, we're happy with it, and we just want to make sure that it's ready to go for whatever next projects we end up having to pick up or tow around or whatever the case may be. So Harry is gonna get back on putting the wheels and tires on. I'm gonna start staining these pieces, and then we'll just kind of put stuff on as we go along because there is no immediate plan. I mean, we're just literally gonna start making it happen as we go. We're gonna wing it. That's what we do. We wing things. We're fun like that. No plan, no lists. Let's do this. All right, so Shop Boy made quick work of getting those wheels on. We still got to torque them. Right now, they're just tightened by the electric ratchet, but we already got one of these suckers sealed. And if you guys are wondering, I'm just using a quick little Thompson's water sealer in the clear, multi-surface. We've used stuff like this before on our shed. It works good, it's inexpensive. This is a budget project, so we're gonna seal one side, put that off to the side, let it dry a bit, seal another one on one side, and then let that one dry as well. And then we're gonna do the bottom side also. So that way when we're driving through areas when it's raining and the tires is shooting water up on the bottom, it will not ruin the wood, hopefully. So, and we were gonna go with a thicker plywood, but we decided just to stick with kind of the same size that was originally on there for weight purposes because we want to keep the weight down. So, so for now, we're gonna keep sealing some wood, and then as that stuff's drying, we're gonna start putting, I think, the front end parts back on. What do you think, Shop Boy? You ready?
Yep.
Perfect. Let's do this. And one more thing that I actually forgot to mention, and if I did, then I'm going to look into taking memory loss pills. But we decided to stick with the clear because that wood grain is bad ass, and I think it's gonna look so rad on a black frame. So, so that's why, if any one of you were wondering why we just did a clear, because look at that. That's so cool. I love that grainy stuff. All right, so while Harry's finished up the ceiling, I'm gonna paint that big heavy ass bar that goes to the front. Oh, hopefully I have enough. Oh, I'm gonna have to make it stretch. But if anything, I have other paint that I can throw down. I mean, it's not super like, it's paint, people. It's freaking paint. So I'm gonna paint that bar so at least that's ready and it'll be drying while everything else is drying, while we're putting other stuff on, so that way when we're ready for it, we're gonna be good to go. So let's put some paint on this sucker. Well, we barely made it, but that's good enough. So now that we have all this stuff drying, Shop Boy wants to put on the jack. So we're going to go ahead and do that, which I think is a great idea. That way we can get the rear wheels off the jacks back there, torque those down, and then we can actually start putting the nice little modified front wheel on that sucker and have a roller. Boom! All right, now comes the part that I've all been waiting for. Where is it, Hairball? We're gonna put this sucker on. So hopefully, with that little creation of awesomeness, it's all gonna function really well. So Harry's gonna throw that sucker on, and then we can finally, ooh, I almost dropped the camera. And then we are going to test it out, see what's up, and go from there. So let's do this. And that turned out exactly how we wanted it to. I mean, we haven't tested it yet, but go ahead, Shop Boy, start cranking on that thing. But that thing is damn near perfect and exactly how we planned it. And it was stuff we had laying around, people. Recycle. Recycle your things. Don't spend the money. See what you got laying around. Oh yeah, we might not have painted that section. It's all right, we're gonna grease it. It's all good. She still looks good. Harry's getting a kick out of that. Hey, sometimes you gotta oakify. You gotta white trash yourself a little bit. That's our version. And if you're white trash, don't take offense. We are too. So yeah, now that that's up, I think we're going to pull those jacks and then, yeah, get this thing back on its wheels and torque those back suckers. Oh my gosh, it is the little things, people. And that, I'll tell you what, makes such a huge difference. Go ahead, Harry, start moving that thing around. He hasn't moved it yet. He's the one who usually hooks this trailer up, so I know he's excited. So, but that is awesome, and that caster rolls really smooth. It's not one that's just kind of a cheapie. I honestly can't remember where we got it, but nope, it is not loud either, but it is pretty sweet and we are stoked. So now I think we're going to go ahead and put these rear lights back on, and I have a couple lights I want to wire into the back. So we'll do a little electrical work right now and do as much as we possibly can before we start trying to throw this plywood down. Plus, it's still got to dry. I think it's a little tacky. And, well, nope, that's wet. So, yep, we're going to wait a while for that. And then, yeah, we'll make this stuff happen. So we're just bouncing all over the place right now. I just realized that we were starting to work on the front and we had more stuff that we could have been doing, but you know, ADD, OCD, that combination really throws things off and makes things interesting. But I think we're gonna put the chain on. Well, Shop Boy is gonna put the chain on. And then while he's doing that, I'm gonna start prepping for these little tail marker lights that we want to put on the back, so that way we just have more, you know, more lights for people to see when we're going down the road. So like a trucker. And yeah, let's get these chains on, see how those worked out, and then we'll go to the back after that. All right, we got the chains on. Well, Shop Boy got the chains on. Boom! Oh God, we just really suck at that. So now we're gonna work our way back to putting these marker lights on, and I'm just gonna time lapse it because It's electrical, and it may work, it may not work, but we're just gonna tie them into this, pop a couple off the back, and call it good. So let's do that next. And then after that, gosh, we can probably start piecing, like, if plywood is dry, we can start piecing some of that on. We do need to put a couple more 2x4 braces in there before we put the plywood. But for now, screw it. Let's get to the electrical. I'm getting sidetracked, and then go from there. Ready? Boom! Gosh, dang it! Okay, so we don't ever claim to be electricians, but what we basically did is we took these two marker lights, you can barely see them because it's so black, and we linked them in to this tail light and basically ran that positive wire all the way through. So what I'm hoping is that it just stays on. I don't know, we'll see, who cares? Even if they don't work, the other ones didn't work either. I'm just making excuses now. But I hope they work, so we're gonna tie those into the frame with some metal screws. And then, yeah, move on to the next thing. All right, so those are in. Chains are on, jack is on, wheel is on. That's semi-painted, very crudely, but whatever. And I think next up is that we are going to put in the rest of the bracing that we need to where we can actually be in line with the 4-foot wideness of the plywood. And then we can start putting the back pieces on, because I don't think there's anything else we need to do underneath after that. So, God, I'm still so disappointed, but I think that's the hilarious, most funniest, it's just thing in the world. So yeah, let's get to that and make it happen. All right, so now that we got those two braces cut, we're gonna slam those suckers in here, but we do have to kind of cut out some recess a little bit so it'll fit inside the frame rail on this. Then we can screw them in, and then we can pick one of these three beautiful pieces of plywood, cut it down, and throw down our rear section. What? Sweet. Let's freaking jam this. So now that these braces are in, which went in fairly simple, which is awesome. I love it. It just, I mean, I was worried about the wires and this and that, but I mean, it went in really good. But now that those are in, we're gonna measure out and cut that first piece of plywood that we sealed. And we're gonna slap that biscuit in there. But what I wanted to show you guys, and let me actually remove this from the tripod. What I did, because everyone's got their own way of doing things, and it's all good. This is just how my brain thinks. But before I lay that on there to screw it in, I put little stickies, basically, painter's tape, and marked off the center of each beam on both sides. So that way, when I go in, to screw this in, all I got to do is just have something that is straight and just go along the insides of those and screw it in. So I did it for wood, and then I made the ones for metal as well, so I know when I need to use my metal screws. So yeah, I mean, I hope it'll work. I mean, it seems like it'll work. But yeah, it turns out we just need to put those 2 braces on. When we do this sheet right here, it lines up good enough with some other stuff to where I'm not too worried about it. It wasn't really a major rotting point last time. And then we'll have the rest of this to figure out. This whole front area, we haven't decided yet on how we're going to structure it. So we will figure that out as we make this happen. So for now, I'm going to cut this plywood and let's get this back section on. Let's freaking make this thing look beautiful. All right, so what I was doing there is I was making a marker, so that way when we line it up with this, we have our markers to go off of, so all the screw holes match all the way. I said screw hole. But anyway, so that way they match all the way down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some clamps and clamp that board to the frame with the markers, and then I'm just gonna go down and I'm just gonna knock it out one at a time and go from there. So in theory, I wish I had 2, that's just bunny ears, but I wish I had both hands. But in theory, it's gonna work. So again, this is my freaking head. It functions in my head, so let's see. For the most part, first piece of plywood is on. I had to go through a little bit of a conundrum with the metal screws at the back, but got that figured out, and we're actually gonna use the grinder, cut off the excess from the metal screws, put in some more metal screws on the sides, and then we're just gonna magically time lapse all the rest of what's going on within the cutting and putting the wood down because I am ready to at least get this thing fully layered out to the point where we can put the toolbox on and start mapping all the other stuff on, or out or on or whatever. You know what I mean, come on. All right, so let's do this. Let's get this rocking. So that fit nice. The only thing that we have to determine right now is if we want to go back to cutting this wood at an angle to where it meets up with that little mount right there. And it does give us more room in the front end. So I think we are just gonna go with the original plan of how that was done. So that way we can still maintain just having more room for more front tires, because it was pretty sturdy, and we are going to put that side brace back on that we Jackie Chan and Beverly Hills Ninja the last time. So yeah, I think we'll just cut it out that way, and then that way we give ourselves more bang for the buck. So, I mean, to tell you the truth, that last one took forever to rot out, so I'm sure this one will be the same. But let's just make it happen. And so I jumped the gun a little bit. I had Harry help me put the toolbox on there just to kind of mock up. I'm trying to decide on where exactly to put things and how far forward to go with the plywood for what's left. So that way we can make sure that, you know, we are set up for everything that we need it for. So I kind of like that placement for the toolbox, but yet I also don't want to limit myself for my turning radius because I could very easily jackknife that sucker. But yeah, I also want to make sure we're leaving enough room for that little back drop, the little backy spot. So I'm probably going to look at some other pictures of how it was and just make sure that I'm not pushing it too hard as far as that goes. And then, I mean, who knows? We may have to just jackknife it a couple times till we figure it out. We'll see. We're just going to get into it. You know how your mind just kind of goes blank and then your body just starts doing whatever it wants, and next thing you know, you end up somewhere where you just kind of forgot how you got there? Well, that's what I did when I decided not to bust out the camera for some of this. But it's all good, because we're getting closer and we're making progress. So anyways, I was just kind of mocking stuff up, taking a look at how things are going to fit, you know, because of that bend in the frame, it kind of throws off the angles. I honestly don't know how the first person made it look really good, but with the bigger toolbox, it kind of makes it look a little funky. But, you know, we'll make it work. But so far, so good. She's coming together. All right, so I think we made some pretty dang good freaking process for just one day. I mean, that's a majority of the wood back on. We went ahead and put that front plate back on, or wood, or spot, or barricade, or I don't know, whatever you want to freaking call it. And yes, it is gray, but we're going to paint that black. So I just got anxious and I wanted to start and get it on there. So that way we can, you know, just have a good amount of progress for the day. And it looks badass. I mean, it's the same as what it looked like before, but it's nice to have new wood. And I'll tell you what, these are freaking so sturdy. And we're still going to put brackets and braces and all that good stuff, but those are awesome. And then we just put this stuff on here because it's just reminders. Hey, this stuff's got to go back on. So, but we're down to the last of it. I mean, honestly, I'm hoping that we only have a few hours left tomorrow. And we just have, you know, we have some bracketry, some things, but not much. So we're gonna call it a day. We're gonna go relax, and then we're gonna be back in the manana. So we will, we'll see you guys back here. Well, I don't know, you might not see us back here, but you know what, whatever, you know what I mean. All right, and we're back. Day 2 for the part 2 of building on this beast of a trailer. Well, I wouldn't call it a beast. I mean, it's technically kind of small. But we're actually here to just do some painting. We're gonna seal these little side braces, and then we're gonna paint the front tire stopper holder mounter thingy. Yeah. And then we're gonna let it dry so that way we can start piecing the rest of this stuff back on tomorrow. So me and old Hairball, whole shop boy here, we're gonna get to masking stuff off, and then we're gonna seal, we're gonna paint, we're gonna let it sit overnight, let it dry enough, and then we will be back to put on all the rest of that bracing hardware and whatnot that doesn't need to get painted. And then we're gonna call it good. So we're almost there. Oh, well, we got a couple things to mount, but that's neither here nor there. We'll figure it out. Let's get to painting. Well, she's all masked up, and there's only certain areas that we're going to be painting. So anything that's gray and wood. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Good job, cameraman. Anything that's gray and wood, we're going to paint. We're going to leave the diamond plate this color because that's where the front tires rub up against, and it'll look pretty poopy if we try and paint that. And then basically the front side, and then yeah, I think it'll look good. It'll be, you know, have the black, it'll match the frame. I don't know, we're just winging. We wing things. I tell you these things of winging. We wing, we fly, we caca. So let's caca to some painting. Let's go. Now, as much as I kid about hating painting, this ain't so bad. It's wood, it's already been painted, and makes it a lot easier. The masking part kind of sucks, and I know I'm gonna have to suck it up when it comes to the Nash, because we're gonna have to do a lot of painting on the Nash. But I think by then I'll be pretty stoked and excited, because it'll be nice to get some paint on that thing. But this is all we're doing to this backside. And I'm gonna have this guy paint this sucker and hopes that he doesn't mess it up. Don't mess it up.
Okay.
So let's make this thing black, shall we? All right, so that looks pretty dang good. I know you saw me jump in there a couple times. That's just me controlling OCD. So from that little bit, yeah, she's solid. She looks great. I'm stoked. It's way better than the gray. So now we're going to do some touch-ups on this bar, because that thing needs it. And then we'll be good. Well, we'll be good for the black paint at least. So you know, then we got to seal or stain, seal, stain, whatever. The thing, the Thompson stuff, that stuff, we got to do that. Time for the seal. Baby, lost the cover of the tongue, kissed by a rose from... Wrong seal. My bad. Sorry. This seal. We're going to use this seal. So let's take some masking tape and all that off. Let's let this thing breathe. Gotta let it breathe. About Jane. Now we can get back to the seal. I just a kiss by you. No, I'm not gonna do that anymore. That's ridiculous. So let's load some of that into that and put it on that. Nailed it. Yeah, I'm a dum-dum. So, this is why I say I hate painting and that I'm not a painter, and I do not claim to be a painter. So I had leftovers in there and I dumped it on. I was like, screw it. Whatever's left over, we'll just dump it on the plywood, you know, throw a little extra on there. But it's gonna show up uneven, I think. So now my OCD, ADD mind's like, well, you did one section, you might as well freaking do the rest. So I'm just gonna throw a layer of sealer on. Why not? Screw it. All right, so, well, now she's painted, she's resealed, and we're gonna let her sit overnight and think about what she's done. Now we're gonna let her cure, get it to a point to where when we come back tomorrow, we can put those braces, those little L brackets back on the side rails, and then for the front, I want to put some L brackets towards the back and towards the front, as well as put on all of our little hoop bolts and screw in just kind of like our hoops and our mounting points for when we have ratchets. So I'm just rambling at this point, and we're gonna let this sucker dry. It's kind of toasty in here, so it's perfect. And we'll come back tomorrow, make this stuff happen. Woo! Oh crap, Perrier, if you're watching, I love you, sponsor us, please. And we are back to finish up this sucker. And everything is dry, but the only thing that I gotta say is, what are those? All right, old joke. I know, it's not even a trendy thing anymore, but I had to do that. Because Shop Boy's shoes seem to be falling apart on him, and yep, it's kind of a regular thing, so we got to find him something a little more durable. But anyways, everything's all nice and dry, and well, semi-dry. It's semi-tacky, but it's enough to where we can work on it. That's dry, and we're going to brace this sucker up, throw down what we want to throw down to where we feel comfortable about it just being nice and tight and dialed. And then we're gonna call it good today. So let's get some bracing action going and make it happen. Ready, Shop Boy? All right, let's do this. Jeez, come on. One more. Yes, we did it, finally. Sweet. So as much as we want to tie into the frame with these, I think we're just gonna go with them just being centered up. And we can always work them into the chassis later. For now, I mean, these are so solid in comparison to how they were. So, I mean, this is just gonna be added support, quite honestly. And if it does seem when we strap it down for the first time or use something for the first time that it's flexing too much, then we'll just tie them right into the frame and then go from there. But for now, this is gonna work, and we're gonna repurpose and reuse the hardware we had before because it looks good. It's a little rusty, but it'll function. So let's do this. So attempt number 1 wasn't successful because it actually went, it started to go through the chassis, and I'm impatient as fart. So I think we're gonna try and actually get it to, we're gonna pull this back a little bit and see if we can't get it to land on the chassis, because it would actually be nice if a bolt was through that. But if not, then we'll just move it forward and go from there. All right, so upon measuring, it feels like this is the sweet spot for this one. So Harry's gonna go again. Go for it, Hairball. Come over here. And we're gonna see if we can't land it right on top of the frame for at least that one. Oh! Yeah, we're biting on something. All right, so we totally missed again, and our measurements and mathematics on this completely suck, but now I think we got it. So we're gonna give this one a shot and see where we land, and hopefully we won't be just making this thing Swiss cheese. So let's see what happens. All right, we got her that time. Shopboy was saying it was dead centered too, which is sweet. And considering that each one of these sides is different, and honestly the holes are different, I don't think we're gonna land the frame on this side, but we'll tie it in at least at the same spot that we did over there, so that way it's consistent in that manner. We'll make it look good. So, and like I said, we can add more bracing to it later if we really need to. It's more that these were already on there before that we're putting them back on than the fact that we really need them. So, plus they just look cool. They're big old pieces of metal. So, come on. Why wouldn't you put big old pieces of aluminum on there? I saw that. Use the broom as a hammer technique. What you know about the right tool for the right job? Multi-purpose right here. Whoop! All right, so this side's big bolts are in. So we're just gonna measure up the distance from there to there on the opposite side, and then put the big bolts on that side, and then we'll come back and we'll drill out and put our little bolts in, or our little wood screws. All wood screws. And then go from there. So let's knock this side out really quick, make it happen. Captain! All right, so all the bolts, well, all the bolts that we want to put in for now are in. It was awesome because actually on that side we were able to snag a little bit of the chassis. We do need to come back and put some washers on it. I thought we had enough to repurpose, but we didn't. So we'll come back later and we'll hit that. And but for the most part, that went in really good. This went in really good. So now we're gonna take these these little side holes right here and get some hardware in those so we have bracing to the side, and then onto the toolbox. Bitches! Sorry, I get excited. Tourette's, my bad. Let's do this! Now we got all these wood screws or wood bolts, hex bolts in, so those are all good to go. Now we're gonna start throwing in our ratchet strap hardware. So at least on this side, I think we'll just try and keep it to one section at a time. But my OCD and ADD will probably make us do differently, but we'll try and stay on track, yeah? Sweet. You're gonna wanna pull the hoop back towards you a little bit. There you go, right there. Got it?
Yeah.
And there she is. We decided to go ahead and go with the old location for that one. Even if we don't use it for motorcycles because it's back a little bit, we haul so much stuff with this trailer, so yeah. She's in. Bam! On to the next side. On to the next side. Next side we're on to. Trying not to stab myself in the leg with the drill. And filming at the same time. Sweet. That was actually pretty impressive. Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably on the wrong side there. Just get the slibbies off. Nice, that one went right in. Harry making it happen with the safety glasses today because Grandma Deb decided to make a comment in our last video. Thanks, Grandma Deb, for always looking out for our safety. We're always safe, people. We're always safe. We take things into consideration. Yeah, you got it right the first time. There you go. Booyah shakalaka! All right, so now that we got our little side hoop ratchet mounting stuff on, we actually need to start putting some screws kind of back in this diamond plate because we took those screws out in order to get this whole front piece off. So we're gonna just kind of put those back in place so that way that's nice and secure, and then we'll also in the same time put down our little L brackets so that way those are good to go for a little extra bracing. And we actually have some hoops right here too that we can put in as well. So we're just gonna start making it happen and going from there. All right, so we got our L brackets in, our eye bolts in for at least those 2. We're gonna end up putting more in. I just don't know how we're gonna go about it yet. But anyways, that'll come up. And I figured we will do a little sweep up really quick before we get more into it. But we're gonna bolt those suckers in, and then after that, then we can start working onto this side where we got to put screws on the top of this and put those back in. Put another little hoop right there. Put a little brace right there. Put a little magic into it and just. And then we're gonna be good. Let's go. Well, that definitely took a lot longer than expected, but it is all good because now we got these little braces and brackets, so I feel a lot more secure about those being there. And then pretty much all the screws that were initially on here are on there now. These eye bolts are on, so we have even more little points for hooks. I am going to put one more on that because that was a big time user one. We use that all the time. And then from there, let's see, what do we got next? Oh, the bar from hell. Yeah.
Wait, what?
All right. The bar from hell. The metal that needs to, be mounted back to the front because we actually use these quite a bit too when they're sticking out there. So I do know we need to re-drill a couple of holes right there. So we're gonna have old Shop Boy do that, and then we can put the bar back on. So let's do this. Perfect. Oh, and you already did both of them? You freaking little rock star. Holes are drilled out. Metal. That means get the metal. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I get excited when things go back on. So this is the one of two last pieces actually. We do have one more to do, but we need the bolts for it, and we'll show you here in a minute. But this one basically just goes in like that and just bolts right back into that sucker, and then we got two more mounting points. So let's put this sucker in. And don't forget your safety glasses, cause Grandma Deb, she said we should wear them. Yeah. Safety glasses, Harry, yeah. Oh crap, almost fell over. All right, so the question is, which one do we use for our center point? And Harry and I were just talking about it, and this is the one that we had on there before, and I mean, we used it a lot, but it's a little bit smaller of a hoop point. This one is a heck of a lot bigger. The only thing I'm worried about is that you're gonna hear that thing flopping around as it goes down the freeway. But at the same time, I do like that we have more screw holes and that there is more room for ratchets. So I think we're gonna go with this sucker. So let's get this sucker in. So while Harry's trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life over there, I'm gonna work on some of these little small touch-ups. So we just need to put a little mount point there, hook up that ground wire, and then clean that wiring up just a little bit. And hopefully he'll be done by then. And then we'll go from there. All right, while he keeps going on that, we're gonna OCD a little bit. Because we got tools upon tools that are out and about, and I don't want to trip on nothing, because safety second, fun first. Safety second, fun first. All right, let's put this this new metal. Metal! Gotta love metal. I'm gonna put the new metal. Oh, license plate holder, strappy on or thinger back on. That way, once we're getting ready to do our maiden voyage, we will be legal by the state of California. You guys can't even see what I'm doing right now, but it's all good. It's just a license plate mount, nothing crazy. So we'll just chit chat. How's your day going? Good? Yeah? What's mine? We're ending completion, so I'm excited. You excited? Yeah? Alright, cool. Has this been fun for you? I hope so. It was a lot of work. I'm really happy we had this conversation. Oh, there we go. Now it's on. Oh, Harry's laughing at me for some reason. I guess he thinks it's weird that I'm talking to you, but... Okay, that's on. Well, now that we are to this point, and everything's pretty well buttoned up. I mean, we're gonna add some stuff as we go. And we have one last thing to get on, and we're calling this complete. But I was just, Harry and I were just talking about this sucker. And Harry, you wanna show them where we're gonna put it? So we don't have the bolts to do this. So go ahead, Harry.
Like that.
Boom, simple and easy. So we just need to get some bolts that are long enough to put through there. I actually have some at the house. I did not bring them, so we'll put that on later. But for now, everything else that we wanted to get done is done, and she's ready to ride. But we are gonna put one last piece on, and that's this beast, and then we are gonna call it good. So let's make this last little bit happen, because this has been a big project. And I'm actually extremely stoked on how everything came out. I cannot complain about a single damn thing. So let's finish this beast. So this was a very, very rando way to do this, but I basically went from the bottom, measured from the frame to the outside corner, put it in there, stabbed it with the drill, hope for the best, boom, bam, done it, hit it, nailed it. Same with the other hole. But we got 2 more to go, so, and then we're wrapping it up. All right, so now we're just waiting on that little guy. Let's see what he's doing. I never know what he's doing. Just like the other one. What are we looking at here? Oh, you're looking at screws. screw bolts. Those look like the ones that go on the back of your TV. That's kind of funny. No Allen heads. We could probably get away with those, but if we have, but it looks like they're all pretty OEM. Actually, wait. Oh. Ooh, yeah, I don't know if those will be long enough. Yep, those will not be long enough. None of those will be long enough. You just dumped out a bunch that will not be long enough. Yep, nope. Ooh, there we go.
I don't know if these are gonna work for these I have.
Yeah, those will be fine. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we would have actually been done already if you hadn't been playing with your nuts this whole time.
Nuts.
I got it. Go. Are you on?
Yeah.
All right. Woo! Yeah, don't worry about that extra hole. Just consider that a drain for when water gets in. Yeah. Got it? Okay, perfect. All right, two more.
Woohoo!
Two more to go, and then we are calling it good. Let's finish this sucker. Final push. Final push. Uh-oh. It's always the last bolt. Got it? Good? You ready? You ready?
No.
You ready? How about now? You ready now?
No.
You ready now?
No.
You ready now?
No.
Are you ready now? You ready now? Are you ready now?
Yeah.
Alright. Fire in the hole! Oh crap.
So,
You good? What are you doing? Oh, it fell down your sleeve. Longest bolt ever put in. It's ridiculous. You ready now?
yeah.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Okay. Woo!
Now, as we were starting to put stuff away and kind of go through the little checklist, I realized there was two of these that I did not put back on. I use these quite a bit. They're kind of like one of those secondary strap mounting points, which is nice to have. Although that sucker did not want to go in straight, but that's all right. We might actually have to remount her somewhere else. Let's do that. All right, so that was easy. We just moved it up a hole. Move it up a hole. Start a new one. Because that bottom one has seen better days. Definitely a lot easier when you have two hands, but we'll make it work for the tube of you. There we go. Oh, look at that angle. It's cinematography at its finest. Like the documentary, oh, Fat Fingers. All right. One more. Ah! Hang on. Ah! Booyah shakala! Beauty! So I'm actually super proud because outside of a couple pieces of things that are new and weren't on there before, we definitely cut a little bit of weight. It's not a ton of weight, but it's a little bit of weight. So that's our little leftover stack. And then this is all we have left to do, is to find a mounting spot for that, which I think we're gonna do in between the toolbox and the little backboard, and then mount that spare tire like we talked about. Simple, easy breezy, cover girl. And with those last few nuts and bolts in place, we're freaking done. We're gonna end it because not only was that a lot of work, but we've gotten to the point now to where we really can't and won't put any more onto it that's going to make it any better. We did do one last little thing where we actually added a little, so your chains don't drag when it's not hooked up and when you're moving it around, because I hate the sound of that. It really annoys me. But anyways, she looks beautiful in comparison to how we started. And if you remember how we started in part one, she was ugly, she was rotted, no one wanted to be around her. I don't know why she's a she. It's a trailer. But now, other than a few little nee-nee-nees here and there, she looks great and we're excited to use her. So we're done for the night. We're done for this video for the old part deuce. Myself and Shop Boy, we want to thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much for following, for subscribing, for liking, commenting. As usual, all the other videos have been doing amazing in comparison to what we thought they were going to do, tell you the truth. And that just makes our hearts happy. But for now, especially because I'm breathing hard, I'm fat, I'm hungry, I want to go home and eat some dinner, we're going to call her good. Look at that. Oh, yeah. So thanks again for subscribing, liking, commenting. We love you guys. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. Yeah.